Hey y'all, it is July the 20th, 2018. Right now, we're looking at an article that I was doing a little bit of research. Alright, and it's not something that I didn't know about. I'd heard some things about it. But I thought we'd take a moment out, I guess, just to cover it, seeing as we're covering everything else. Alright, there's a lady. She was killed allegedly at Parkland. Over there in Florida, the school shooting. Her name is Carmen Shentrip. Or I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's what it looks like. Carmen Shentrip. She was 16 years old, and she was killed over in that shooting. Now, Carmen Shentrip's parents, I'm getting to know who they are, find out who they are. I heard some things. One thing that I had to look into is a fund. It's called Carmen's Fund. All right. And from what I understand, it has something to do with sensible gun laws, which is something me personally I don't agree with at all. All right. But that's beside the point, really. Honestly, it's beside the point. We're focusing on something else. Another detail right now. It's unsavory. Like I said, I heard of it before. You probably heard of it. But I figured, you might as well go ahead and just lay it out in the open. Principal whose daughter was killed at Stoneman Douglas blasts the school district. And you could read the whole article. Basically, how they were slipping. How, Carmen's parents seemed to believe that the school board was slipping and tripping in all sort of ways. And they seem to believe, if you could read the whole article, it's not very long, but they seem to believe that certain policies were not adhered to as far as safety protocols. Right? And not only that, after the tragedy, when Carmen's mother, quite reasonably needs to take some time off of work, where she works for that particular school district. She's actually a principal, and it says somewhere she's a principal of Pembroke Pines Elementary, which is in that school district. All right, she has to take some time off. That sounds reasonable. They started giving her the business basically, and she's like, "Dude, this is tragedy, and it's all y'all's fault, or at least a lot of it's y'all's fault. And could you help me out?" It was kind of like pulling teeth, basically, and not only that, like I said, people really didn't offer her the kind of support that you would hope for in such a tragedy, in which school board and school district and security people and everybody involved absolutely dropping the ball in countless ways. All right, so the support that she got wasn't really appropriate for the situation that she had been introduced to. All right, as far as the daughter's fund that they made about sensible gun laws, that don't matter to me at all. At all, they can do whatever they want to. All right, they want sensible gun laws. Go ahead and come to the table, and everybody could discuss it. Meanwhile, you're blaming the school board, which I would have to go ahead and agree with. Yeah, they probably have a lot to do with dropping the ball that day. They certainly do. And you work for them, you would know it better than I do. I'm going to read a couple quotes. The same administration and security staff that were allowed that allowed the worst tragedy in Broward School's history are still in charge of discipline and security today, says April Shentrip. All right, like we already insinuated, everybody across the board needs to get fired. Everybody across the board fired immediately. In fact, 4 months ago. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Her husband added, "I believe the district is dragging its feet, not because it did everything right, as stipulated by Mr. Runcie, no, but because it did so many things wrong." That's what I think. And these are people who are very familiar with the school district and school board. Right? The mom works for them. All right. So there's some quotes to hang on to and dwell upon. Probably the next video might have something to do with Nicholas Cruz, the violent path of a teenage killer. All right. So I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. It's July the 20th. 2018, and I appreciate all y'all. Thank you for the tips. Thank you for the hints. Thank you for the this and that and the leaked this and that. I appreciate y'all, man. We're getting somewhere. I'll holler at y'all a little bit later.